What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Let's get right off into this. I be baffled, man, when I be listening to how Wack 100 be manipulating and deceiving so many people on Clubhouse, man. It ain't even funny. Especially when it came to the JPrince and Larry Hoover situation. How he tried to take it out on JPrince and how people are so deceived because it's like they can't even put 2 plus 2 together. Let me tell you something. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So many people always want to give their opinions, but ain't even got the sense the first to even recognize what real is, what truth is, to not even know game, but always want to volunteer their assistance and say things that they have no experience of. I be listening to them talk, I be like, these dudes dumb as hell. They can't see what this man doing. They don't understand the tricks and games. And this is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you 100% proof of this. Because he tried to paint the picture that JPrince is a liar. And the thing JPrince doing, like he on some shifty stuff toward the Hoover family. And Wack always good at reversing things. He will take something that's about him, then reverse it to make it seem like it's the other person instead of him, like he did this. When he actually the dirty dude who was trying to play the family, but trying to make it seem like he was trying to look out for the family because he's trying to look out for his own well-being. If you look at this situation, man, let me ask y'all this question. Why would the woman figure she would have to go out of her way to reach out to guys who she know affiliated with another gang to represent her? Wack 100s and Reggie Wright Jr. Why would she have to reach out to them to represent her? And she's supposed to be some woman who allegedly work for the government or something like that. Why would she have to reach out to them to represent her? Because she know what she's doing. See, that right there should be a red flag right there out the gate. Like, why would she need you to represent her? Because she know she can't get away with what she's trying to do. And she tried to get them on board, hoping that they can find a loophole around what they trying to do. Because here's the thing that they not telling y'all, even though they said it in so many different clips in so many ways, then come back. If you put all the footage together, they contradicting themselves through the whole thing. Wack 100. They wanted to make it seem like they wasn't trying to do a movie, a documentary off this man life. Again, this is what they trying to do. Because if you look at what's happening in the world today, what's happening in the world today? They remaking all these old movies that used to be out 20, 15, 10 years ago because they know it's a new generation. So they redoing these same old movies that were popular back then and they upgrade them. Same thing with the documentaries of these gangster lives. Now, since everything is on a big screen, they doing these movies and getting these deals with Netflix and stars on these gangsters movies. Like y'all see the 50 Cent BMF series he doing on Stars. Everybody talking about it. You see the Forrest Whitaker, Frankie, Bumpy Johnson one that they doing on Apex. You see all these gangster movies that they doing. How much more Larry Hoover? One of the biggest gang leaders in the country. So what they figured? The lady like, oh, I got some old footage of him 1998. We could get a deal. Ain't no real company gonna sign off on it. So she hired some alleged gangsters who do business now to represent and find loopholes to help her get a deal on this man's life. Now, watch this. Let me show y'all something that y'all miss, that y'all don't get. Now, when JPrince was talking about they trying to get paid off the name of Hoover's family and the estate and or forged documents and things like that. Listen at this. Let me just show you the deception of what Wack does. Listen to the deception.
You been in jail, right? Can a nigga Can a nigga forge an inmate signature that got to sign double consent on both sides of the glass?
We didn't already had this same conversation.
Yes or no?
You asking me this though like
no,
I'm accusing
nigga, I
you of something. You
fuck
don't have
that,
to explain it to me, bro. I already get it. We done already crossed that bridge.
Did the nigga tell a lie?
But we done
yes
already
or no?
crossed this bridge, G.
Did he tell a lie? Yes or no, nigga? You know it's an outright lie. Ain't no way that can happen.
Something to say.
Did he lie?
Yeah.
So they saying JPrince lied about them saying that they had forged documentations trying to get paid. And here's Wack 100 defense. Wait, Hoover signed off. He was in jail. He had to sign off on an interview. That's the contract. That's not a contract. That is a release agreement. That's not a contract. You see the tricks he doing? Well, if Hoover signed off on the interview, that's the contract. That man ain't signed off for y'all to make a movie deal on that man's name. That man is signed off for y'all to get signed a Netflix series deal off this man's name and his life. And here's the thing how JPrince wasn't lying about the forgery documents. First of all, in order for you to get a deal like that, what paperwork you doing? You don't have an updated contract on this man's life. When he signed that contract in 1998, there was no such thing as social media as it is right now, or the internet at all. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have America Online. We didn't have that in 1998. But you want to make it seem as though Hoover signed off on something having the knowledge of knowing what was finna be used, what y'all doing today on him. But here's the thing y'all didn't know. Hoover do not have the rights over his life rights. His name and his life rights at all. He had already given that over to his wife. Even before he signed that contract. The man is smart, okay? The man, one of the biggest gang leaders in the world. He know that he not getting no monetary monies off his name under himself. So the rights was signed over to the wife out the gate, okay? The rights was signed over to the wife even before he signed the agreement to do the interview for the woman in 1998. This is very important, people. This is very important to know. So in other words, if Hoover's wife is the power attorney over his name and life rights, no matter what Hoover signed in that jail for the agreement of the interview he did, everything got to go through that wife who is the power attorney over him, that Hoover gave her. Hoover gave her power of attorney over his life rights and name so that she can financially gain from off his name without him doing it and having to pay a heavy fine as a result of who he is. Sort of like, again, let's go back to the 50 Cent and BMF thing. Big Meech, while incarcerated, cannot get paid off of what 50 Cent is doing under the BMF thing, even though Big Meech gave the okay. Whoever is middlemaning on Big Meech's behalf, maybe it may be 50 Cent, on Big Meech's behalf, is storing up his money and keeping it safe and protected, because Big Meech, while being incarcerated, he can't do that. He can't get paid off that stuff like that while being incarcerated. You're not going to make legal monies, that multi-millions of monies, off criminal crime organization, because what that will do will let the people know, like, you can get rich that way. You can get rich killing people, doing all this stuff. Then you go to jail, you sell your store, and you could be rich. That give off the wrong impression to the world. The same reason why the United States can't negotiate with terrorists. Why? because that would influence terrorism. Well, all we got to do is terrorism, somebody in the United States don't negotiate. So this is how we're going to keep getting paid. But since terrorists know that the United States don't negotiate with terrorists, no matter what you do, we can't negotiate with you. That's law. That's law. Even if you threaten to blow up the whole world, we can't even negotiate with you. So they can't influence criminal organizations by letting them capitalize off of it. So Hoover, knowing this, gave his wife power of attorney even before 1998 over his name and his rights, which meant whatever Hoover signed, you can't even use it unless he legally remove his wife from being power of attorney, or whoever it may be power of attorney, because now they're trying to say JPrince is the new power of attorney. But regardless to what, Hoover's not the power of attorney. So no matter what he signed, that can be considered as forgery. And he could do that to protect himself. Like, yeah, I'm going to sign off on this just so I can get it dead. But y'all can't use it because you still got to go through the people who I put in play for my power of attorneys that represent me. So when Wack 100 trying to say JPrince this, JPrince that, understand this, people. JPrince and Larry Hoover are friends. JPrince visit this man in prison. This man is on JPrince Rap-A-Lot label, speaking on Ghetto Boys and them albums. From direct phone call with this man, which means whatever JPrince is saying is coming from that man himself and his family. So I whack like JPrince this, JPrince that. No. That's coming straight from the man himself. JPrince will not speak on Larry's behalf without Larry knowing about it. That's what he don't get. Now, when JPrince says forging documentations, it would have to be. Because regarding to what you say, even if you say, well, Hoover signed off on the interview, okay, it still would be considered a forgery because he don't have the power of attorney over his own rights. His wife or I do. That's why when the woman had the footage, he was trying to buy the footage from the lady. She can't use it. She can't use it because we had power of attorney over him before 1998. She can't use it. That's why she hired gangsters to try to represent her, to try to find a loophole around the system, Wack, to actually get something did by trying to use the connections of gangsters to try to go against other gangsters, which also caused the problem. Because why would we have Pyrus representing gangster disciples? Why would we have Pyrus? Ain't none in Chicago at all representing gangster disciples or growth and development. Why would we have Pyrus doing that? No, we can handle our own business. We don't even like the fact that you even have our chief, that they call him, their chief, our chief stuff in your possession. In your possession. We work through our own people. That's why Jay like, I buy the footage. I buy the footage. Because you definitely can't use it. You're going to get sued up. You can't use it. I buy the rights to the footage. Or better yet, let's reconstruct the contract. Since the lady got the footage. Reconstruct the contract. Put it up under this such and such name. Let us see what it's about. And we may sign off on it. We may sign off on it. Now, here's the thing. The lady did do the footage. So she is entitled to be compensated something. I believe y'all should make it fair for her what she needs to be compensated as a result of that. But I understand both sides, but I'm smart enough to recognize real from fake. I understand the woman should be compensated properly for her maintaining the footage and her doing the interview and getting it set up in 1998. But at the same time, you have no right to capitalize off that man's name in 2020, trying to get a multi-million-dollar deal and then think you're going to get a family a cut. No, we'll give y'all a cut, if anything. Y'all ain't giving us a cut. We'll give y'all a cut. We'll give y'all a cut instead. So that's why Jay was right on what he said. Any documentations y'all entered in or any deal y'all trying to sign is forgery documentation, because we are the power attorney over his name and life rights. Ain't no way they can get around that. So with Wack, like, did he lie? No, he didn't lie. Even if Hoover signed the agreement of the interview in 1998, he still don't even have power of attorney over his own name and rights. So legally, he's not even that's not even binding legally, because his wife or JPrince, whichever one have it, they the power of attorney over his name and life rights. You know business, Wack. Stop acting stupid. Whoever is the power, that's just like, say for instance, I made my wife the power of attorney in 1980 or the 70s. Remember, Hoover been locked up for almost a half a century. So I make my wife my power of attorney. Then here comes some people coming in, hey, we want to do an interview with you. You gonna sign off on the interview? Yeah, I signed off and agreed to do the interview. Wack called me, oh, this is a contract. That's not a damn contract. That's an agreement to do an interview, and you were cognizant of the interview and you signed off on it for it to be released. Okay, get that. But I didn't sign off on your Netflix deal. I didn't sign off on your Stars deal that y'all trying to do. In fact, if you want to be legal with it, I didn't even have legal right to even sign this over, because I don't have the power of attorney over my name and my life rights. My wife do. It's done that way to protect me. That's why I gave it to her. I made her my power of attorney to protect me. In case any rats like y'all try to take my stuff to use it, you can't even use it, because my wife is my power of attorney. And if me and my wife so happen to ever get into it where I've been locked up this long and she move on with her life, then I'm going to make my right-hand man my power of attorney, who I can trust to handle my affairs out there. Now, JPrince, you're going to be my power of attorney. Either way it goes, the power of attorney has the rights. So any documents you have is considered a forged documentation, even if Hoover himself signed it, because he's protected by his power of attorney. So JPrince didn't lie, like Wack trying to make it seem. Look, y'all, look, I gave him clips of the thing and he didn't even send it to the family. I don't have to send the family a 30, 40 second, 22-minute clip of something you gave me, like, ooh, look, y'all, I got a clip of this. Hoover know he did that interview in 1998. He know he did that. I ain't got to send the family nothing. When I'm in direct contact with this man, I ain't got to send his son nothing. I ain't got to send his wife nothing. I talk to this man. If he said no, and if he didn't tell me to send it to him, hey, come on now. You the stranger. They real friends. You the stranger. You ain't never talked to Hoover on the phone. He ain't never called you up on the line. You the stranger. Jay, it's pictures of Jay visiting this man in prison. Jay got recorded phone calls with him on records and stuff that they let out to the world to hear. And you trying to make this a JPrince and you thing, then you go with the reverse again. And you keep forgetting. Jay is sort of like an ambassador on behalf of Larry Hoover. So he's allowed to speak on his behalf. So what he's saying, he got the okay from the man himself. You the stranger. So come on with these games, man. Stop it. I'm from Chicago. I know how this goes. We know we peak game a mile away, bro. That's common sense. They don't rock like that. Why would they let a blood, a Pyru handle growth and develop business when they got all this stuff they can do? So of course they feeling some type of way. Of course that's a problem. Come on now. Of course that's gonna be a problem. That's just like me being a Crip and the leader of the Bloods got all my footage and then want to get paid some way off Crip business. No, we got other Crips that can do that for us. But I tell you what, I would pay you for your services, but you got to hand that footage over to us. I pay, and that's what I mean by I understand both sides to that degree. But thinking y'all gonna hold on and hold this man footage for ransom and then police it and then, come on, man, you're doing too much. You're doing too much to the point where, come on, man, you just doing too much. And that's why Jay was like, all money ain't good money. Jay ain't finna come on this internet and lip box with him and incriminate himself. He ain't finna do all that stuff and try to seek attention off the internet, try to sit here and give out affairs and business and name people who all involved and name dropping. You ain't finna do all that. You ain't finna do all that. So of course you're gonna beat him on the internet. You're gonna beat him on the internet, Wack. You can have that. You're gonna beat him all day over this internet because he's not gonna entertain you with the internet. Real G's moving silent. I just think it's bad that greed won't allow you to see what's really real, and you call yourself a stand-up man. You can't even be real and true on what's real. And what's real is this. Look, you know you have no business holding on to that man stuff. And that lady hired y'all to do some dirty stuff that you have no problem with volunteering or want to get involved in. Which means, bro, you ain't even considering and weighing the options and what's really at stake. What's really at stake. I really don't see how you can volunteer that. And you supposed to be rich and got all this money. Come on, man, listen. A slow nickel beat a fast dime. Understand that. A slow nickel beat a fast dime. And you will live long to appreciate it. That fast money always comes with consequences. And at the end of the day, it ain't worth it and nobody wins. And you don't know who you jeopardizing. You don't know who you sacrificing. People just always ready to go guns blazing without even weighing up the options of what's at stake when you decide to go to war. And that stuff ain't even worth it, man. Brothers really need to get it together. They really need to strengthen themselves. This is sad, man. This is sad. So yeah, this is definitely terrible. But here's common sense. And I want y'all to listen at this, people. Stop letting him deceive y'all and manipulate y'all. Listen. Hoover's wife or JPrince, I'm going to say, whichever one. Whichever one. Listen. They are the power of attorney over the name and life rights of Hoover. Hoover put it that way to protect himself. Right? Which means the documentation that was signed to do the interview in 1998 is not even legally binding without the power of attorneys okaying it, approving it. So anything that they have of him can't even be used. And this is why you was hired, Wack, to do your dirty stuff you do, to use any weasel connections you have, because real business will not put their hands on that because they know how real business is ran and operated. Like if you Netflix, you know these lawsuits and all these stuffs out here. When somebody pitching that before you, you want to know who represent him. Neither one of y'all can say y'all represent him. Well, we got We got an agreement he signed in 1998. 1998, he wasn't even no internet in 1998. It wasn't even no Netflix stars or so. That man ain't signed off on this. But we got the footage. He signed off for us to do the interview. Okay, but we can't do a deal or a series around this man. Who is his power of attorney? Who got the rights over his stuff? His wife? Well, where's she at? Oh, so y'all ain't get up out this office. So what she do? You want to get some gangsters involved. Come on, man. It is what it is, man. It's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment. That's a question. It's yours. That's why they can't do nothing about it. Wack can say whatever he wants. JPrince was telling the truth. Any documentation you have, even from the 1998 Hoover signing the agreement to do the interview, he's not his power of attorney. He's not his power of attorney. So it's considered a forged documentation, especially when you're trying to handle business. And it's not even legally binding because the power of attorney was established before the signing and agreement of the release of that interview. So guess what? He's holding on to something you can't even really use. With that being said, it's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment, that's a question. It's yours. JPrince was definitely right. Wack 100 was wrong.